You were either here or you f***ed up.
This past weekend, when we're recording this, I was at the AFI 20-year Sing the Sorrow full album play live Kia Forum Saturday night. Other details about it. It was f***ing rad, dude. It was cool.
I was about to say, like, I thought you were posted a little bit more, but I saw the one. I'm like, this looks pretty sick. And I saw a couple other people from like Smart Punk and everything like that were also there. I'm like, oh, surprise.
I'm at the age now where I very much am conscious about how I grew up in the era when you would be like not on your phone and just watching. And there was a time back in the day too where Davey Havoc was on stage. I believe it was during the December Underground tour, and he was like, I'm really glad you all are here, and I'm really glad you all are not fucking filming right now.
Oh, okay. That's that's early too. That's like early.
That was 06.
Yeah, that's like
06 or
razor
early
phones.
07. Yeah. So he had a very strong take on that early. And I don't think he feels any way the same about it now. But that was just at that time when, you know, you didn't really even have a lot of smartphones out there that could film. I don't know. He was just like, no, don't do that. Enjoy the show. And so I've taken that into account. You know, I go out and I want to enjoy the show. I did take a lot of video. Like I did shoot a lot of Instagram stories, but I didn't post them. And I'm like, you know what? That's for me.
I was about to say, this is for me and my eyes only.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be out there for y'all. I posted a couple and I'm like, you know what? That feels good. I did the thing. In the video version of this, we see a shot from the show where there's just phones all throughout it. So,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, there you go. It's everybody's filming it. 17,000 people at the Kia Forum.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, sold out in a day. Yeah, it was just packed full. Luckily, we were on the floor. I got to watch it from not in this photo, but from way, way back. Close enough. Like we had good spots and could see it, and definitely vibing out. Audience was great. You know how we talk about how audiences now kind of suck, but
yeah,
in general, the audience was good. Mosh pit opened up in front of us. People were really nice and fun and respectful, but
love it.
No comments of the negative side.
Did you get in the pit, Brian?
No. I will make one comment that I heard a lot leaving the show.
Oh, really?
Was, wow, they really didn't play any other songs. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's an album play. What did you expect?
They told you the set list, bro.
You knew ahead of time. You've known for 20 years.
Yeah.
What the set list would be.
I
Go look
don't know
at
how
it.
to help. I just thought that was funny.
That is funny.
But we're looking at Brooklyn Vegan here to look at the article about the show itself. Obviously, if you are a fan of AFI, you already know all the songs they play too, because it's the record. But obviously, if you have never listened to the record, go check out the record because it's 20 years and it's really good. And I think you could see a lot of where emo went after 2003 because of this record, because of Blink-182's self-titled. This is kind of where like the emo, screamo sort of sounds from that era kind of came out of because this shit popped off. So, I mean, obviously I can review that they played the songs in their order and that's that. But
cool.
One of the openers we got there in time to watch was Jawbreaker, who has headlined Riot Fest here in Chicago. And I think played other times. I don't know. I don't know much about Jawbreaker. We've already talked about how we don't know real emo, true emo.
Yeah, we're fake, actually. You know.
Yeah, we're fake emo altogether, 100%. They did dedicate a song, Paper Airplanes, Makeshift Wings to Jawbreaker, and talked about going to see them at Gilman Street and other small venues. Like, obviously, AFI has been a band for 33 years. Like,
oh, wait, holy shit.
Yeah, they've been a band for 33 years. Davey, the singer, and Adam, the drummer, are the only two remaining original members. But these four guys have been in it for over 20 years now. Like the same lineup
is
since
Jade
then.
Pudgett, did he come later then?
Yeah. So he started on Art of Drowning and the Halloween EP that came before that. So he was not an original member, but a lot of the stuff that you know from AFI from the early 2000s is Jade. And a lot of the guitar work that he brought to the band was just so specific and different that I think that also helped them get into like the more emo and pop punk scenes in the early 2000s, just because it was a little bit more, I'm going to say trendy. I don't like that word because I think it has negative connotations, but certainly more in line with a lot of the other music at that time.
I mean, you can say trendy because like I feel like now we use trends so often and it's kind of like a middle of the road word nowadays. And if you're doing it to try to elevate your performance and like where you are, I feel like that's more acceptable now. Or back then it'd be like, you're a poser. It's like, I would like to make money. Thank you.
Allie has corrected me in the chat. Black Sails and Forward. Yep, that's correct. My bad. But yeah, Black Sails was really like when you would go to see AFI back in the day, that's as far back as they would play like multiple songs. They would often play like one old punk song, but Black Sails is like the oldest record they would play. And now they only play apparently this record. So, you know, fuck those guys in the bathroom after the show. They did a little tribute. I was like, I really hope they do a tribute to Jerry Finn, who produced the record, but also passed away after a lot of these records that he did. He did the Blink self-titled. He did Alkaline Trios, Crimson, and a bunch of other records, and really like influenced that emo scene too. Like going into that. We've talked a lot on this pod about how like that's why we have the Blink 182 of today. That's why we have the MGKs of today. Like Jerry Finn was the guy who led to a lot of this stuff. So a nice little tribute, showed him on the screen, and then right when they were doing that, right after they did that, they performed the Leaving song, which is more of like the acoustic number from the back of the audience. And so like everybody like turned around like, oh, he's right there, and it was like.
Really, it's like, oh my God, how'd he get there? Look at it.
Yeah, it was a cute, emotional little moment before going into like the 10-minute, like 3-track outro. Yeah, no, it was absolutely super sick. We can also see here that the vinyl is being repressed. There were 3,000 copies at the venue. They were being sold first come, first serve to people in the parking lot. Oh. And they didn't have a limit on them. Of how many you could fucking buy.
That's a real choice.
Yeah. But some dude, bought a box of vinyls.
Are you fucking?
A fucking box of vinyls.
And you're taking that into the stadium with you?
Yeah. I mean, maybe. Who knows?
I was about to say, I feel like they wouldn't allow you to do that. They probably like, get out of line, put it back in your car.
Remember that LA is a car centric city, which that it does not track to me at all. But like, yeah, you have parking at the venue, so like you just park and you can drop stuff off in your car, and I'm like, that makes no sense to me from Chicago.
So chaotic. No,
yeah, but I was just very shocked that like the merch companies and everybody said, oh yeah, you can buy as many as you want when you have a limited amount being sold at the venue. Like that was a little wild to me. People tore him apart on Twitter, and I'm like,
as they should.
I'm like, that dude does not have a Twitter. That dude is not on Twitter.
That dude probably doesn't understand how to use Twitter.
No. But he does understand the value of a box set. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's videos up here. You can go and look at the whole performance. They're incredible. The band is just still at the top of their game. It's insane.
I feel like they play so rarely that it would be like, oh, if I didn't see them at the top of their game, there must be something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I only saw them once, and it was the one time that they played Riot Fest.
Yep.
And they were great.
And they're so good at that show. They used to do this thing back in the day. Their albums really had like a 4 or like multiple year like span between them. This was one of the bands I could always look back at and say, here is very clearly a band that is taking time between their records so that the records become like an event when they're released. And there's like new eras of AFI when they release a new record. And then it was like, yeah, but we're going to release a record every 2 years. And you're like, what? How could you do that? How will you have enough songs? How will you have written them? How can you afford producing them? And then today we're just like, I put out a song because I recorded it on my laptop and it's done. Like, it's like, a very different world now.
And you can do it too, everyone.
Yeah. Very different world now. But AFI always, yeah, they seem like that band who's like, we're going to take our time. We're going to do it right. We're going to come out and do the biggest, best thing we can. And I think that's their entire process. Imagining after this, they're going to take some time and we might not see them for a little bit.
Probably not. Maybe we'll get another like of Davey Havoc's like side projects.
Some Black Audio.
Yeah, some more Black Audio. That last Black Audio LP was actually fucking banger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, So good.
So good. Doesn't miss.
Does
So
not
I
miss.
asked a friend one time, like, oh, have you heard Black Audio? And they're like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's Davey Havok from AFI. It's like side things, like synthy, electro, but it's like super vibey. And they're like, I don't like this. This sounds weird. I'm like, what do you mean it's dark wave?
Sounds
Like,
weird.
Okay, so like you just say you don't have taste.
Yeah, they have a couple of fest shows scheduled this year, potentially more. I mean, they did like their own shows for the last year. So maybe there are going to be more fest sets. They did their tour that ended at When We Were Young. So maybe they're like going to do other fests this year. And maybe we'll see them at Riot Fest. I don't know. Could be.
I mean, I could see them do like another Sing the Sorrow playthrough at Riot Fest potentially.
I don't think they're going to. I think that they sold this as like one and only. Done. I think they're like, this was it.
You were either here or you fucked up.
That's why I had to be there. They literally had all their marketing say a one for the first and last time we're doing this show.
Oh, okay.
So I think if they did it again, they would be really giving it to their fans. Yeah. You're liars. More like a fire in lies.
Listen, they could have a 40-year one if they wanted to.
I guess different. They could. They have been a band for 33 years, so that math is mathing over here.
Wild to me.
Math is mathing. Incredible. They posted a lot of like Sing the Sorrow recaps on their page too on Instagram. So that's also a good place to go if you're like, I don't know this record. Why should I like it? Well, let me tell you.
Well, listen, or you could look at Spotify and just listen to it through.
Yeah, it's great. This is probably my favorite record of all time. When I think of the things that I listened to growing up and like what really guided me on this path, like it all started with Sing the Sorrow. So the fact that it's 20 years old is when I really realized like, okay, I'm here. I'm dying. It's over.
I'm dying. It's over. It fits the theme. It fits the vibe.
Yeah. It's their 6th record when they really hit. They really got it out on that 6th record.
They really just said, hey guys, this is it. Yeah. Like,
oh yeah, there was a short film called Clandestine, and I was like, Clandestine Industries? And then it was unrelated.
Once?
Nah.
AFI crossover?
There was so much like that was just kind of stolen from AFI is like actual goth shit. And
oh yeah,
like Fall Out Boy was just like kind of taking some words that were gothy and then being like, we're too. And it's like, come on, man.
Wasn't that most emo bands to an extent, depending on like their vibe?
But depending on when you want to say I took it from this specifically, like I do believe that Fall Out Boy at that time was like looking at a lot of AFI stuff and like kind of saying we should do something like this. And this was pre-Cork Tree, so that's possible. It's very possible. I had friends that were friends with Fall Out Boys, and they were huge AFI nerds like me. So
I hope that they were there with you.
They were right there with me.
Oh, wait. No, yeah, they could have been right there with you. You just would never have known.
I would have never known. These are all the B-sides they didn't play.
Upsetting.
I don't know, man. I like they could have, but I don't think it was necessary to play B-sides at a show, you know? Like
I think it like depends because so comparing it to like, I mean, the Fall Out Boy show I went to at Metro wasn't an album play. It was just like, hey, we're here. We're going to play the small venue. But there was definitely like, you should play B-sides because this is like in an area for big Fall Out Boy only fans. So if you play B-sides, we're all going to know it unless you are a fake fan. I feel like at AFI, they're like, we're just playing this, nothing else. Like, I mean, they made it pretty apparent. I still would have been like, let me hold out for hope. But if they're like pretty strict with it, I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. Where, I mean, I've gone to other like album play shows and they'll sprinkle in like their singles just to like do it. So I think that's probably why also people are like, why didn't they play any other songs?
Yeah, it could be. I saw Enter Shikari do an album play back in the day and they were like, we're not even going to play it in order. We're going to play it out of order, mixed in with all of our other songs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was really neat because you're like, I'm going to hear all those songs. But I think this is like one of those things I always say about like album order, like album song order, is that there are some records that are just really front heavy with your hot fire shit. And then the later part of the record is more of like a here's some shit I've been working on type shit. So there's not a lot of records where I feel like they go in a very strong order from the record where you could play it live and have hot fire throughout the whole thing. And I do feel like Sing the Sorrow is one of those records, much like Fever You Can't Sweat Out is one of those records. So like playing it all the way through makes sense. I don't think like that Enter Shikari record would have done great if it was played all the way through, like in order. So having like some of the like other songs mixed into the middle around some other hot fire tracks from other records, it kind of worked. It made sense.
It vibe. I know like for the Jonas Brothers current album plays they're doing on Broadway, which I should absolutely still be at this night right now, but I am not. Upsetting for everyone involved. From what I was seeing in tweets, like they would do the full album in order for the first 2 nights that they did, and then they would sprinkle in some of their like bigger hits. So the first night they did their self-titled, and then afterwards they played like Cake by the Ocean from DNCE, and then like a couple other of like their singles.
Any Jonas's.
It's Jonas.
No Jonas is left behind.
None of them. Who knows? Frankie Jonas was there with his weird cocaine song in the background. Are you unaware? He released his own song. It's called Cocaine.
Guarantee you, I'm unaware. I'm unaware.
We could play it for you.
I'm okay.
You don't want to live react?
No. Why would I do that? It's not even an important Jonas. It's bonus Jonas. Like I don't give a shit.
It is bonus Jonas.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I do recommend that if you are not currently a fan of AFI, this would make you become one. I think that it is worth seeing. If you're like a younger emo fan or a newer emo fan and you're like, yeah, I really like them MGKs. This is where it started. Go listen to it. Learn.
If you like MGK's My Bloody Valentine, go all the way back to AFI Sing the Sorrow.
Yeah.
If you like this, how
You'll
about
like this? Yeah. This is going to be my Tom Mullen moment when I'm trying to say like real emo. And I'm like, no, AFI is real emo, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like this is where it all started. And if you don't know the shoulders of the giants you stand on, like you got to go learn. And this is where you start because it's 20 years in, 20 years deep. Where were you 20 years ago? All you fucking 17-year-olds.
Like fucking 17-year-olds.
Our audience is not made up of a lot of children.
No, they weren't born yet. I was like 8 years old.
Math does be math.
The math do be mathin'. 33 years ago, I was not alive. So.
Well, yeah, you didn't know the band at that time when they were playing Fireside Bowl in Chicago.
No, because I was not alive or I was not cognitive enough.
You were not even a concept.